Alright, this is part 2 to the Racing Beat heat shield mod that I'm doing to the 84 RX-7 GS with a 12A motor. What I did was used my Sawzall to cut the heads off of the 4 bolts that you might have seen in the previous video. Cut the heads off the bolts, so now you have a straight bolt, two bolts that are coupled in the middle by the coupling with your nuts on it. Let's take this over to the car along with the heat shield. I've got plenty of lighting here so you guys can see. What you'll do is you need to take this bolt now, this long bolt that you have created, get your intake manifold bolt out of the intake manifold, which you could see here. For those of you that will be questioning the depth that this bolt will be going into the block, you take your original intake manifold bolt, set it alongside the bolt that you will be installing, and set the depth of your nut to how deep it needs to go into the block. You can see that there. That looks about right. So now you go ahead and you thread that into the bottom of the intake manifold. Now this is a Holley intake manifold that is sold by Racing Beat. You just screw that in there. And then you tighten that nut. And you're doing this on both sides. Once you do that, you install your header heat shield on there as per instructions from Racing Beat. But before you install that heat shield, you'll notice I have one nut already threaded partially down the rod. So when you put your heat shield on, put your other nut on the end of it, tighten it down, make sure it's snug up against the intake manifold. So you tighten the outer one first. Once that's good and snug, then you tighten the inner one. Get it right. Tighten it all up. Both nuts on the right side and the left side, and you're good to go. Now it's installed. These bolts cost about, I don't know, let's look at the price tag. From Ace Hardware. All the parts ran about $10. 4 bolts, $2.20. 4 nuts, 25 cents. 2 couplings, $1.90. That's about $10. Go down to your local hardware store, pick up your parts, cut the bolts up like I said, join them together. Now you don't need to worry about how to install your header heat shield or Paul Racing Beat Up to look for the bolts, because now you can do it like this. Hope it works out for you guys like it did work for me. Later.